Hey, how's it going, people? It's Mike the NBA guy here. Today, I want to talk about John Wall, and really I'm talking about the Wizards as a whole, because John Wall's not the entire team, but he is definitely the most important thing for the Wizards going into next season, and I really want to focus on him and talk about why I don't think John Wall coming back is going to be enough to make the Wizards a good team again. In fact, I would not even guarantee they make the playoffs next season, and I think their absolute ceiling is a 8th seed and a first round playoff exit in like 5 games. Okay, that's like the best possible season I can picture the Wizards having with John Wall, if he even stays healthy the whole season. So, getting right into it, alright? Look, I never saw John Wall play in his prime, and in fact, even over the last 2 seasons when I have been watching basketball, or 3-ish seasons, really. I've been mainly watching the Sixers, and John Wall has not participated in these games against the Sixers, alright? So I am mostly basing what I'm saying off of stats and what I know about serious injuries, because John Wall had some serious fucking injuries, alright? And stats-wise, John Wall's last fully healthy season, okay, because he actually had a very healthy career relatively prior to 2018, because he played 32 games in 2019, 41 games in 2018. In 2017, he played 78 games. That was a fully healthy season, alright, I would call, and he was fantastic in that season, alright, 23 points, 11 assists, and 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. And he did that on 45% shooting, which was a career high for him, to go with 33% from 3 and 80% from the free throw line. Pretty solid numbers. Now, 33% from 3 is not great or anything, but first of all, 2017 was a few years ago, so, you know, maybe he's worked on it since then. He did shoot 37% from 3 the year following, and then back down to 30% in 2019, so he's kind of all over the place. For his career, he shoots about 33% from 3, so I would assume he's going to shoot something very similar to that when he comes back, maybe slightly better. And he also had 11 assists with only 4 turnovers, pretty solid ratio. Anyway, very, very good season. Alright, he managed to make his one and only All-NBA third team in this season. He has also been a very good defender throughout his career prior to injuries. He made an all-defense team in 2015. And I try not to hold the all-NBA teams hard against him because, first of all, he played on the Wizards, who have never exactly been an amazing team. And second of all, the point guard position has been pretty stacked in recent years, and just the guard position in general. So when John Wall is going for his All-NBA teams, he's competing against guys like Steph Curry. Even in 2017, for instance, Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, Damian Lillard, James Harden. These are all guys he is competing against for the guard spots in the All-NBA team. So because of this, I find it difficult to hold it against him when he only had 1 year that was really his prime, when he was 26, and that was the only All-NBA team he made. He had a lot of tough competition. But otherwise, even looking at this season, so let's assume, well, you know, first we're gonna say what I think John Wall is gonna come back to. Okay, John Wall is going to return after 3 years without having a fully healthy NBA season. Alright, basically 2.5 years without playing, because the 32-game season riddled with injuries in 2019, I don't feel like I can even count that. Alright, he played, realistically, he just kind of played like the early 2018 season, and then he was done. So, the man's been injured so much, and they're not like minor injuries. These are injuries that have kept him out for the last 2 years. This dude has had some serious-ass injuries, alright? Huge leg injuries to a dude who is, I mean, a massive portion of his game is athleticism. He was arguably the fastest player in the league back when he was healthy. That's not going to be the case anymore. I don't care how well he recovered. There's no way you recover from these massive leg injuries and you come back faster than De'Aaron Fox or Ben Simmons or Russell Westbrook, you know? Just not going to happen. And, like, I think the best thing we can hope for is for John Wall to come back at, like, let's say he comes back at, like, 90% of himself, okay? I would say 2018 John Wall is a good example. The year following his best season, he still put up, like, 19 points a game, 42% from the field, which is closer to his career average, and not the greatest number, but he did shoot better from 3 at 37%. and he only had 10 assists a game, but that's a lot more reasonable anyway. All right, let's say that's closer to what he's going to come back as, because I think 45% from the field from a guy who isn't really a shooter, even if he does manage to shoot 37% from 3, I don't expect it to be on like contested shots and like a lot of them a game. He's going to come back and he's going to be a little less efficient, and he's not going to be as good defensively because he was once an all-defense player. I do not expect him to still be an all-defense player, even if he is a well above average defensive player, specifically for his size. Once again, losing athleticism, especially from a dude who is smaller, so he relied really, really heavily on it. He's not going to come back at 100%, okay? It's like Kevin Durant. Like, if you think that you're going to come back at 100%, you just got to be fooling themselves, okay? The last time this man was fully healthy, he was 26, or it was his last fully healthy season. He's going to be 30 when he comes back, okay? That's when most players start exiting their prime. So that's the most likely thing, and even if John Wall does come back at 100%, okay, let's say he comes back and he is his 2016, let's say he's better than 100%, let's say he's really 110% like he says he is, alright? He is his 2017 self. He's averaging like 23 points a game and like 10 assists. He's shooting like 45% from the field. Let's say he really does shoot above average from 3 on like 4 attempts a game, okay? He's an above average 3-point shooter now. He's just as athletic as he used to be. Now you got a pairing of John Wall and Bradley Beal, who are 2 elite guards. Their team's still not going to be that good, and I'm still not positive they make the playoffs. Okay? Actually, I would say yes, they would definitely make the playoffs, but they're still not anything more than a first-round exit in like 5 or 6 games. Okay? Because the East is too tough. And you look at this Wizards team, they're not that good. They have nobody on this team plays any defense, and like I said, John Wall, he's not going to come back at 100%, okay? He's not making a freaking all-defense team next season when he comes back. Bradley Beal is a below-average defender, alright? And everybody else in this team, I mean, like their third best player is probably Rui Hachimura, who's like a sophomore. They're not going to be that good. They're going to lose Davis Bertans, most likely, who is their second best player last season. And who are they going to replace him with? Because they don't have any money, because John Wall is going to be making $40 million a year for the next 3 seasons. In fact, in 2023, he's going to be making $46 million that season. That's insanity. That is an insane amount of money, okay? Especially for a dude. I think if John Wall played at his 2017 level, he still wouldn't be worth that much, okay? He still wouldn't be worth the Supermax, in my opinion. He just wasn't that good. The dude was an above-average all-star on his peak. He was not a superstar, in my opinion. He just wasn't. I just don't think the man was that good. And maybe I'm missing something because I didn't really see him play. But like looking at the stats and from the footage I've seen, dude just wasn't that good. He's never been crazy efficient. His most efficient season, like I said, 45% from the field. That's not great. Okay? He's probably going to come back as like an average 3-point shooter. He's going to shoot like 80% from the free throw line again. He's going to have a lot of assists, but he's going to be slower. His defense is going to be worse. He's going to be probably a little bit less efficient than he was before. He's going to be massively overpaid. Bradley Beal is a great player, but he's not really good enough to be the first option on a great team either. Neither of them are going to be amazing defensively, even if John Wall's a little bit above average. And the rest of the team's going to suck ass because no free agents want to go to the Wizards, and they don't have a lot of cap space because John Wall has taken up like a third of their freaking cap because he's massively overpaid. You know, their team's just not going to be that good. Alright, I suspect the Wizards are going to win like 40 games next season, and I think they're probably going to miss the playoffs. There's definitely a solid chance they do make the playoffs. I'm not saying they're definitely not going to, but like, I certainly, look, like, I would not bet on the Wizards making the playoffs. Not sure how much I'd bet against them, but like, I'm taking the field over them making the 8th seed, okay? And the 8th seed is their ceiling, because I'm down on the Nets, but are you really going to take the Wizards over the Nets with KD and Kyrie, even with an 80% Kevin Durant? No. Are you going to take them over the Pacers? You know, I've already made a video about the Pacers, which you should totally check out. But like I've said, like even if you're not that high on the Pacers, you got to admit that the Pacers this year were better than the Wizards are going to be, right? And those are probably going to be the 2 worst teams next season. Maybe the Sixers if you're really down on them, but they still got Embiid and Simmons, who are much better combined than John Wall and Bradley Beal. They're just not going to be that good. So I'm really sorry, Wizards fans, but your team is ass, and it's probably going to keep being ass for a long time. I'm very, very sorry for you. So yeah, that was a very sad video, especially if for anyone who's a fan of the Wizards, but that's just my opinion, alright? Maybe they blow me away next season and I'm totally wrong, but I do not think the Wizards are making the playoffs, and I don't think John Wall coming back really changes all that much for their franchise. So if you did enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And check out some of my other content, alright? Newest video on the greatest decade came out yesterday, being the 90s. And I will be having more videos come out soon. So thank you. Have a good one.